Greetings, super friends. Jonathan Levy here, and I am with none other than the Noah Kagan. If you guys don't know Noah, he's super awesome. He's like early at Facebook, early at Mint, but he's also done a ton of interesting stuff since then. Sumo.com, if you guys haven't heard of it, amazing tools, and AppSumo, which you guys have probably heard of. So Noah has been in Israel for 2 months, something like that.
A little under 2 months.
And you've been learning Hebrew.
Ken,
Tell me a little bit.
So I started about a year ago. I wanted to learn. So I found a local teacher, and we'd meet once a week, $50. And it was okay. There wasn't really like a linear learning strategy. It was just kind of like all over the place. And then I found an online teacher through italki.com, and we would meet once a week, but it was much more structured. And I noticed, so I went from learning there to like there. And then when I got to Israel, the learning is like here because I'm just around it all day, and I signed up for daily classes. So every day now, I do an hour and a half of like dedicated learning.
So a year of learning.
A year of weekly class, I was okay. And then the past month, it's just been like...
So how would you feel giving me that whole sentence in Hebrew?
Like,
you don't have to.
Yeah. אני למדתי בעברית בשביל שנה.
Okay.
אני למדתי like כל שבוע היום.
I'm going to stop you.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop you just to save time because you're a busy guy.
Okay.
So what I wanted to do is, obviously we do accelerated learning stuff. Noah's a busy guy. You don't have 10 weeks to take my course. So I want to give Noah some tips here on like how to triple your learning speed. I realize this sounds like a marketing gimmick, but we're going to do it in a few minutes here. And it's super simple stuff that anyone can do at home to literally double or triple the way that they memorize new information.
Okay.
So there's a couple key principles. The first one is something called the picture superiority effect. So like over the course of 1.5 million years of the development of our brains versus the reptile brain versus other mammal brains, we've developed the ability to memorize huge amounts of information, primarily as pictures. So if you think about like, if you are a Neanderthal, what kind of information is game changer? It's like, this kind of berry made me shit my pants last time, and this kind of berry is totally fine, or those tribal markings mean this guy's gonna kill me, and so we're really good with pictures. And so the first kind of accelerated learning tip is to convert everything that you want to remember into pictures.
Okay.
So any word you're going to teach me, I'm going to convert into pictures. Any number, I'm going to convert into pictures.
Okay.
And I'm going to create these visual, vivid memories that are kind of new and unique and exciting. So that's tip one. We're going to do a demonstration in a few seconds. Tip number 2 is to dual encode your memories, right? So the way that our brain works is actually a lot like Google's PageRank algorithm.
Okay.
So like it assesses what is the importance of this information by determining where it's connected to other things. So like if I teach you this new word in Norwegian, you're just gonna be like, it's not connected to anything. I don't know any Norwegian people. I don't really care. It's gone in like 5 minutes. We've all had that experience, right? Where we're
It's like when you meet someone and they say their name, and then you kind of like instantly
gone,
forget it.
Right, so when we dual encode, that's a great example. We try to connect this new piece of information to as many other things as possible. So like, how is this Stacy similar to another Stacy I know? Can I picture her, which is tip number 1, with another Stacy? Can I picture Mike with a microphone, right? So connecting it to all the knowledge that I know about microphones, and obviously I'm gonna make it this fancy Sennheiser mic because that's something that I know about. I spent like hours researching it. So I'm gonna connect all my new memories to existing memories. Okay. This is why like, if you think about it, you'll never forget like old childhood friends because there's so many stories interconnected. So that's tips number 1 and number 2, and that alone will allow you to memorize huge amounts of vocabulary words, like instantly.
Okay.
So I'm gonna teach you a few words in a second, but the next thing I wanna do is like give you some advanced stuff. Noah's a really bright guy, went to Berkeley. I don't know if you guys know.
Moderately bright.
So tip number 3 is like super advanced strategy, and that's memory palace technique.
Okay.
So if you ever like, you've heard about this stuff.
Yeah, I've read the book.
Yeah, which one? The
Walking with Einstein.
Moonwalking
with Einstein.
Rock on. Okay. Did you speed read it? No.
No, I don't speed read anything. I don't speed read podcasts either. Nothing.
So do you remember the memory palace in the book?
Yeah. Well, you go to the front door, not his memory, my own memory palace. Yeah, I don't remember their books.
Right.
Book.
So I read that book like 4 years ago, and I still remember a lot of the memory palace details.
So the memory
I
palace
remember there were
is
sausages. I remember that there was pickled eggs on the. You remember that?
It's not anything from the book.
All right. So the memory palace technique is where you take all these vivid visual memories that are connected to pre-existing knowledge, and you put them along different places on your path. Then you can build a memory palace, say, for verbs, build another memory palace, say, for nouns, so on and so forth. So I want you to give me some really hard words that you've either struggled to learn in Hebrew or you've decided very recently that you need to learn, haven't had a chance to look up. We can also do Russian, Spanish.
Yeah, no, I want to learn more Hebrew. So the number 1 word is to play.
To play.
Lehamshik.
You have two words. To play a musical
No,
instrument.
to play sport.
Play sport. לשחק.
That one. See? I can't remember that.
Okay.
לשחק, I can't remember. Mamshik, to search for.
ממשיך
להמשיך.
להמשיך is to
To
continue.
continue. So I know
to search for is
mamshik.
לחפש.
Lechapes, and then the sport one. It's hard for me to remember. And
Okay, brilliant.
to agree,
There's no word in Hebrew.
hasbir?
I'm just kidding. To agree is להסכים.
scheme, and then lehabir.
להסביר is to explain.
Those are the four words that
Alright.
I just can't remember.
Let's remember, I've created some visual symbols just to remind me of those being the words that you
Okay.
want to remember. So the first one we want to learn is לשחק.
Okay.
Okay, and this is going to be a Hebrew lesson for anyone watching, but also
Yeah,
you'll
free
be able to
lesson,
use this stuff to actually learn anything in any language, whether it's words, numbers, names, any of that stuff.
I'm doubtful, by the way. I don't
That's
think
good.
it's going to work.
That's great. Okay, so
Wow, that's a great attitude, too, by the way.
here's the important thing. I need to use your associations. I can't
Yes.
put my associations
Sure,
on you.
that's
so
why
you already know a good amount of Spanish. Use that if you can. You know, obviously, English, and you already know a lot about Hebrew. So if something sounds like les is like leset, jaw in Hebrew, if you know that, use it. If you don't use it. So let's try and break lesachek into syllable components and try and see what comes up for you.
Okay.
Give me some stuff.
So lesahek is to play sport, right?
That's also an important point. We need to, in that visualization, imbue the meaning of the word.
So lesahek, I was thinking heck, like a heckler.
Heckler's great.
Less is like an annoying heckler, and then less of them maybe?
Okay, great. So I want you to imagine that you are standing on a stage and you are practicing a sport. Now, what's a sport you would do on stage?
I'd probably do like yo-yo.
Okay, so you're doing yo-yo. אתה משחק עם yo-yo.
I'm continuing.
משחק. So
I'm playing.
לשחק is the infinitive.
The
אתה
to play.
משחק.
And I am mesahecking.
Yeah, אני משחק.
משחק, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you're on stage with the yo-yo, and you're not doing a great job. Okay, I want you to
Sorry.
picture.
I'm closing my eyes, dude.
And go into detail with it, okay? And try and picture, you're wearing your blue sumo shirt that you got over here. It's an imaginary scenario. Okay, you're playing with the yo-yo. And then I want you to remember that this heckler in the audience is like, get off the stage.
I'm like, dude, I'm yo-yoing.
And just be like, okay,
heckler.
like less hecklers.
Less hecklers. Okay.
Yeah, just less hecklers.
Okay.
I think you'll get to the in the second. I think you'll get there. I think we can leave that out.
So less heckler.
But you can just be like less, and then it can hit you in the head, and you're like, hecklers. Okay? We're going to come back to that. But what I want you to do is, in the back corner of that room, you see on the corner of that piano, I want you to just take that little scene, like it's a little nativity scene, if you will. I want you to put it on the corner of that piano.
Okay.
It's there. You guys don't see it, but it's there. Okay? So that's scene number one. The next, not in order, but you also wanted to get להסכים, to agree. Okay? Now I want you to think, this one's an easy one, I'm gonna do it for you. You and I have a scheme, okay? We're gonna rob a bank. That's our plan. We just did a video for Noah about Jews and money, really funny. So we're gonna scheme to fit into the stereotype, we're gonna rob a bank, okay? So we're scheming. I want you to picture us sitting down, we're wearing all black. But you don't agree with one of the things, which is I said that you have to shoot the guard in the foot. You said that I have to shoot the guard in the foot. So we're negotiating on it, okay? And we're deciding that we're gonna do it. We're dressed in all black and we're scheming. We have to scheme to agree which one of us is gonna
shoot the guard.
Commit the violent crime and maybe get the sentence, okay? להסכים. Now I wanna put that somewhere good. We're gonna put that on that black chair. We're wearing black. We've got a black chair right in front of us. We're gonna put that right there. So להסכים. Okay? So like we're laying out a scheme on the table. Perfect. We also wanted to get to להסביר. Okay? So להסביר is to explain. Sounds like beer.
Yeah, I was totally thinking beer.
Okay, so hasbir, להסביר. I don't think we need to encode the le because I think Noah has enough knowledge to know that that's the infinitive.
Yeah.
Okay,
so like has beer.
By the way, another nice thing about Hebrew and any other Semitic language, if you know להסביר, then you know that hasbara is explanation. Esber is the explanation. Like hasbara is the act of explanation.
Okay.
Esber is the explanation. Masbir is I'm explaining. And then you have like peripheral words that are related, like sipur is story, lesaper is to tell a story, so on and so forth. But that's what's nice about it, is you can use this to branch out. But in any case, so lehasbir, obviously you and I have a beer, hasbir. Just imagine you and I are sitting in that bar. I want you to go back to that bar that we sat at, Teder. Do you remember where we sat?
Yeah.
Back corner. Great. We're sitting there, and you're telling me I'm asking you questions about sumo.com. I want to get into the nitty gritty because I'm a greedy Jew or whatever it is, right? And I'm like, I want you to explain to me, Noah, how you built this 8-figure business. And you're like, dude, I'm not going to explain until I have a beer. And then I'm like, all right, Noah has a beer. I say to our other friends that were there, like Tomer and all those guys, Noah has a beer. Now he's going to explain. Le has beer. Okay? And I want you to put that, we're going to do some ninja stuff. I want you to put that where we were in that bar at Teder.
Okay.
So if I remember correctly, and generally I do, you were sitting 2 seats down and across from me. And then you remember that Tomer was sitting on the edge. Roy was sitting next to him. Shira was, so I want you to put that right there.
Okay.
Cool. And what we've just done then is the memory palace works so well because our brains naturally remember location because it's life or death. If you forget where the winter food storage is, death. If you forget how to get back to the tribe and it turns night and it's cold, death. If you forget where the watering hole is, death. So you remember, you can picture all your favorite taco restaurants, exactly where you normally sit, exactly where the kitchen is, exactly, and you don't even pay attention, you just do it naturally.
All right.
So we're there. What other words did we want to learn? We learned lehasbir. We learned lehaskim. Okay.
Lehashek. Lehasek.
Lesachek.
Lesachek. Mamshik, but I already knew that one.
You already knew mamshich. Okay.
Those are the 3. What was the was there a 4th? I don't remember.
I don't remember there being a 4th one. If to continue.
No, because I was. All right, so let's come back to those.
Okay.
Or do you want to come back already or no?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, really, what we should do is pause the video.
4 hours.
All right.
Or we can go do other stuff.
I mean, it'll work an hour from now. It'll work right now. And that raises another really good point, which is spaced repetition. So you have.
Well, I think part of the thing that I wonder is that like this is helpful because I'm spending time. So I think the one thing that's really helpful is like associate the word with something that you can remember easily.
Bingo.
Right.
And then visualize it.
Yeah, visualize. So like, Leha scheme. Like I can talk about that we have to agree because the gun. Like lesachek is because there's a heckler.
Less
there.
of a heckler.
Less of a heckler.
We can change that. It can be like, be less of a heckler. Then it'll be easier. You won't make the mistake that you
Yeah,
made.
because I'm playing a sport to play a sport, and then lehas beer. So I'm going back to the place. It's like we're gonna have beer, and we're gonna have to fucking explain shit to you.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. 3 words in like 5 minutes.
And it's good because, well, I've spent months trying to think of those words. So it's nice. I think the association, the visual is helpful.
Bingo.
I think there's a balance of like how much mental energy, because it's tiring. It's not easy.
So that's what I was going to say.
It's
It's taken us like 10 minutes to do this, but now...
Well, it's taken me months to remember these words. I still have not, until now.
Right, so for you, it takes 10 minutes to explain, but if you give me any word, it's instant for me. If you give me any name, it's instant. That just comes with practice.
Do you not think there's only so much space in your brain for this stuff?
2.2 petabytes. That's about 1/6 of what the NSA has. There's a lot of space for this stuff.
Tons of space up here.
There's a lot of space, and also the nice thing about this technique is that the more you learn, the more you can learn. Because all you're doing is you're not actually creating more space, you're just making everything more dense. I'm taking your new knowledge and I'm inserting it into existing neural networks, right? So like you already have a piece of the neural network that's called cheesy crime movies, and this is what criminals wear. You already have a piece of the neural network that says Noah likes telling stories over beer. What is it? Powered by beer and tacos?
Yeah,
sure
whiskey and tacos.
Whiskey, okay. And so,
Keep going.
well, so you're basically just creating more density in your brain. You're improving the brain's ability and you're tightening everything up. And what's nice is the more you learn, the more you can learn. Because when I started to learn
Keep
Russian,
getting better and better and better.
not just that, it's like imagine a piece of charcoal, right? They say like a tiny little pinhead of charcoal, if you were to expand the surface area, it's like 1 meter by 1 meter. And it's doing the same thing in your brain. So if I learn Russian, then when I go to learn, so for example, lehasbir, lehaskim, those were all in English. But imagine if you spoke 6 languages. And in another language, there was a sound like leha. Or for example, in Hebrew, lechi, which means cheek.
Okay.
And I could connect to it. And like here's a perfect example. My marker for to open in Russian, otkriti, is part Hebrew, part English, and on occasion part Spanish, right? Ot is letter in English, but it's also ot. But I want it to sound exactly right. Ot, right, in Hebrew. So it's letter, kriti.
You're kind of losing me with all this shit.
In any case,
I guess one thing
my point is I'm mapping onto different languages and I'm mapping onto different sounds. So people are like, well, if I learn Spanish, then I'll forget Russian. No. Like if you learn it this way, the more you learn, the more different connection points you have to make.
I guess one thing I was wondering for you is then, like, how do you decide what to remember and what not to? Like, you didn't remember my
That's
shirt.
a great question.
You didn't remember my shirt very well.
Right.
But it's like, are you trying to remember everything or just the things that matter most?
Just things that matter most. And at the end of the day, if you want to really put this stuff into long-term memory, you need to do what's called spaced repetition. So no one out there, and I've interviewed all the like world's top memory experts, if you ask them a year after the memory championships, like what was the order of the cards, it's gone. And the point is, like, our brains are very good at being efficient. They're 2% of your mass, your body mass, 20% of the energy consumption. And part of the reason that I mean, we make a lot of sacrifices as Homo sapiens to have this brain. The whole reason we walk upright is to protect this brain. So it has to be very efficient or it would just consume all of our energy. And so what it does is every night it goes through and it prunes things that you don't need. If anyone's ever seen, have you seen Inside Out, the Pixar movie? Okay, well, there's a scene where these guys go through every night while the little girl's sleeping, and they're like, My Little Pony, we haven't played that in 6 months. We don't need those memories.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it's exactly how the brain works. And so we game that, number one, by, I mean, I've just bought you a lot of time. So instead of forgetting, what's over on the piano over there, by the way?
The one over in the piano is Le Sahek.
Brilliant. So instead of forgetting that in 5 minutes, you're going to forget that in 2 days. But what we do is every time we push the curve out, we use something called spaced repetition software that will automatically tell you when you're likely to forget based on an algorithm of how your brain works with that individual word. And I can set you up with the software. It's super easy. If anyone wants to know, it's enkisrs.net. And what you do is you just create an algorithm to do the absolute bare minimum. But what's nice about these techniques is I've just pushed it out. So you don't have to review your flashcards every single day because you're like, lisachek, lisachek, lisachek. You'll remember that 2 days from now. 4 days, maybe pushing it.
Ask me in 4 days.
I will.
Yeah, so we got Le Sahek, we got Le Haskim, and then we got Le Sabir.
Yeah,
Le
Hasbir.
Le Hasbir.
Hasbir.
Has the beer.
Right.
That's
time,
pretty cool.
Did you go back to the...
I went mostly back, but I knew it was the beer and I knew I had it.
Exactly.
But it is interesting, yeah, because it's been something months I've been struggling with that.
And then over time, what'll happen is if you use these words, they will go directly in. So like I know about 1,800 words in Russian. Most of them I don't use my symbols anymore. They've become just natural.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of getting it in and then, like basically what you want to do is you want to sneak stuff into existing...
Ani Mesakim.
Maskim.
Maskim.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know the conjugation yet, but Ani
That's
Maskim,
fine.
I agree.
So it works.
That's pretty cool.
I've been trying to get Noah to give me like
Check
10
it out.
minutes
It's
of his
good.
day.
It's good. I think the hard part for the people watching is that they have to actually, they don't have you next to them yelling at them in their ear. And so it's like committing yourself, if you want to learn any of this stuff, like I'm trying to learn Hebrew, have some end goal that matters.
Bingo.
Right? Like I'm learning Hebrew because my dad passed and I want to be able to speak his language to continue the heritage. And it's like, that is a strong motivator. So when you're alone studying, like you keep going through it. So having someone that has a blueprint and then yourself have some accountability to sticking with it.
And that's exactly why we built the programs is like, I'm not going to unfortunately be there for every single one of you guys.
Like a Facebook group or anything to help them with accountability?
We do have a Facebook group. It's called Super Learners. Very easy. And then we have online courses that take people through this stuff day by day by day. Every single day tells you what to do. Gives you games, exercises. If you don't have stuff that's like super learning focused, maybe you're working on this over the summer so that you'll be ready when school starts. We give you games, practices, memorizing.
I just wonder how many people buy it and then they're like want to be a super learner, but they just want to buy it and so they think they're just gonna like magically get it in their brain. Like I bought it, so
people
I'm
have to do the work. You have to do the work, and actually we tell people like this really is only for people who are willing to sit down 30 minutes a day, 4 to 5 times a week, and actually do the skills. Because like this is great. You now know how to do all this stuff, but what about like names, numbers, all that stuff? There's a lot of complexity and nuance to where we could get you. And it's also getting to that point where it's like, give me any word, 3 seconds. No problem. Russian, Spanish.
You start putting it in different places.
Yeah, and you start learning how to like create these symbols, what makes better symbols. I kind of shepherded you into like, specifically I picked some images that were like crude, there was a violent image, like that kind of thing. One of them was like a particularly sensitive one, like tell me financial details. So there's ways to make the images better or kind of less ideal, and I kind of
more
shoehorned it in there.
Well, it is interesting when you think about what people remember. Like if I asked you last place you traveled to, I went to this place.
Yeah.
Like it traveled in a plane. Like, I came to Israel, I did this. But if I said what I had last week for dinner, I'm like, probably this. So it is interesting, okay, where if you're going to remember things, you probably have to do certain, like what is it about that I can do and other things I want to learn.
Precisely.
All right.
Precisely.
Well,
thanks for putting up with it.
July.
All right, everybody, that is all that we have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned a lot. And if you did, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and comment below. And if you guys would like to learn more about accelerated learning, I would love to invite you guys to a completely free 1-hour seminar, webinar that I am putting on, and you can just hit the link in the description and check that out. We'll go over all the fundamentals of accelerated learning, from memory to improving your learning to some basic neuroscience, and we'll even talk a little bit about speed reading. That seminar, as I said, is completely free, and I would really love to see you guys there. So go ahead and hit the link below, and I will see you guys over there. Thanks, and see you in the next video.